The Wave Wade Shadow V6 version 1, nice and breathable, good traction, nice and lightweight. But the V2, they've done something really interesting with it. And this is what they gave us. So when you're looking for an upper that's breathable, they've done really well on the V1s, but the V2s really take it to another level. And when you're on the court and you've got nice sweaty feet, you need something that's lightweight and containing. These do that really well. I actually found, when you put the light through, you see that the light map is actually glowing out from almost every part of the shoe. But that's one thing they've upgraded really well, especially from the V1s. And I was a little bit concerned about the support, but it seems like they've done a really good job with these wires that run through the material. It is a transparent material, but quite honestly, this is much better than I anticipated. Super containing, nice and lightweight. I think they've done a really good job with it. The only thing I was a little bit concerned about was these shoelaces. And I'm not sure why they have these little nodules on it, but they seem to be containing the feet quite well. I'm getting a little bit of movement in the uppers, but it's still holding that midfoot down really tight. So I'm pretty impressed with that. Now in the Wave Wade line, their 808 Ultra 5s are, I would say, their benchmark, especially when it comes to the midsole and the cushioning. The Super Boom is by far the best cushioning setup, but the boom setup they've got in the Shadow 6s take it pretty close, right? Now for a budget shoe, I think it's definitely enough to get that cushioning, and if you do want to alter the cushioning a little bit, you can always pop an insert into it. But for what it is, straight out of the box, quite comfortable. Rear foot, you get a good amount of compression. Forefoot, not so much, but overall I think it's enough in the right places as well. When you're jumping and you're landing on the forefoot, I think there's enough there to help with that impact protection. But for the Shadow 6, I think these probably will get you by on an outdoor surface, especially because there's less impact protection with the shoes. Generally, I think a heavier player would definitely still be okay with this. A lighter player will have no problem with the impact protection. There's still a good amount of responsiveness. They've got the TPU unit at the bottom, which we'll talk about in the traction, but overall, good responsiveness. The impact protection is probably enough to get most people by. Say if you're really heavy, you might want to add in an orthotic to help with that impact protection, but overall, I think this will suit most people. So here in the traction, they used tough rubber here in the forefoot and in the rear foot, but a nice TPU unit in the midfoot to actually support the arch of the foot, which is nice to see. Here on the first MPJ, a nice Wave Wade logo, which actually helps with those pivot points. And overall, I think the grooves are actually deep enough to use on an outdoor surface. Indoor, you'll have no problem, but you may need a wipe every so often to get that real good grip. But I was genuinely surprised how much they've upgraded this from the V1s, right? I'm just curious as to how durable this rubber is. I will be trying it more on an outdoor surface, but it's even nice to see these traction patterns on the medial side of the big toe, right? Especially if you're rolling that big toe in, that provides a good amount of grip, which is nice to see. Not all the shoes have it. A nice wide lateral flange to help you with those quick stops side to side. But overall, it seems like the rubber is a nice hard compound, and they've caged it here in the midfoot with that nice TPU unit. So my experience when I was trying it is I had really good bite, and for a budget shoe, I think they've done really well with it. So I actually went true to size in the Shadow 6s V2, and I had no problem with heel slippage. The lacing that you get with the Shadow 6s is actually very interesting. So the laces have these little nodules that actually, when they feed through the holes, they kind of lock down the shoe collar, which is nice. I think that did assist a little bit with that heel slippage. But when we're talking about overall, I guess, comfort around that top or dorsal midfoot, they feel a little bit weird, I'll be completely honest. Because the tongue's not the thickest, you do feel these little nodules. It's a bit odd, especially when you're comparing it to those straight, thin, kind of normal laces. But look, they do help with the support. It may be something to get used to, but true to size, I think you shouldn't have a problem. If you're a wide or extra wide, these do run a little bit wider than most shoes. If you're extra wide, consider going half a size. But I think most people will get away with a true to size in these, especially because that upper material has a little bit of give to it. But overall, even in the rear foot, there's a little bit of cushioning. It's not so much where it's nice and snug in the rear foot. It's enough to keep that heel bone nice and snug in there. But I think overall, most people will get away with true to size. So I'm actually really impressed with how they've made this final product of the Shadow 6. They've definitely upgraded some things from the V1s, and for under 150 bucks, they've definitely ticked a lot of boxes. I love me some breathable shoes that actually contain really well. Sometimes there are hit and misses when you increase breathability. Containment isn't the best, but to have a nice contained and well breathing upper, it's amazing. This cool shell material is actually really good. And midsole, boom, you can't go wrong. Traction, that's actually got tough rubber, really good. I'll definitely be playing these on an outdoor surface a bit more and really giving them a good test. But overall, some nice colorways. This is the SpongeBob one. There is a Patrick one also, which my wife has. And overall, if you want to check out some other colorways as well, I'll leave you guys a nice little gift below. Leave a comment if you guys want a specific shoe you want reviewed, and there's a playlist up here which I think you'll enjoy if you give it a click. Go on. Click it. You'll see the shoes if you click it. I'll see you guys on the other side.